Hey, I'm Decathlon Gamer. Welcome back to F1 2020. This is MyTeam Principal. We're on episode number 5. We're already nearing the end of our first season. We don't have a ton of money right now, but we did have enough to go ahead and grab another perk. This one is for resource points. But we've got to be actually level 8 before we can do that one. So the B-type, the only one available to us is the media coaching. Didn't realize that would be the case, but it is. Vehicles in good shape. R&D, we definitely have some points available and don't have anything currently under development. So let's go ahead and see what, if anything, is available to us. Powertrain is fully upgraded for the moment. Looks like we can do chassis or aero upgrades. Chassis is definitely the weakest area, so we have minor tire wear, or we could get a major weight redistribution. Let's go ahead and get on with that. Take 2 race weekends to get done. Facilities, yes, we have 2.5 million, but that's not going to get us terribly far. Of course, that powertrain, I'd love to get that to level 1 here soon, spec 1, so we can at least get that off and rolling on some additional upgrades, so soon maybe. It is only 2 million. It actually might not be a bad time to do that. Let's go ahead and do that now. Might as well, right? Because we're going to start with resource point generation. Alright, we have 9 days till our next race weekend, so let's plan that out. There's only a single 4-day item, but we have multiple 2-day items and 3-day items. It looks like window-wise, one 3-day item will leave us 6 days, and that seems to fit more naturally. So we either have race simulations, which will help Calderon immensely, or we work on that chassis department. Well, I already put in a major upgrade there just a moment ago. It's a little late for that now. So let's go ahead and boost our teammate. And then we have durability. We could do all 3 2-day events, or 1 4-day and 1 2-day. That's awareness is nice. You know, that 4-day is not necessary. Let's go ahead and actually get some durability, morale in for a change. And you can already see just how much better it is. I mean, it used to be 5%, and then 10, now 15 already. That's a huge impact on what we're doing. I mean, we're seeing large scale effect on these things. We're still in season 1. Calderon, huge increase in attributes, so that should be handy as we head into Singapore for round 16 of the championship.
So let's review the updated driver standings. It's a great result for Lewis Hamilton, who moves further ahead at the top of the table. It's time to see how things are shaping up in the Constructors' Championship. Mercedes continue to extend their lead. Well, that was certainly an incredible weekend of racing. Be sure to join myself and Ant for more exciting Formula One action soon.
So this was Singapore in the rain. I've never actually driven Singapore in the rain personally, so I wouldn't know how that is. But in the dry, this actually is one of my better tracks. Pretty strong throughout the track. There's really only one definite weak point where I often lock up and go a bit too deep, and that's the hairpin that's right between the 2 bridges before you hit the backstretch after the second bridge, where the second bridge is the backstretch. Yes, the second bridge is the back straight. So that hairpin right between there, I often have a bit of trouble with that. Like I said, I go a bit too deep, a little too much speed coming into it. Other than that, I generally do pretty well on this track. Not always the case for road courses. There's two that I do well on, Azerbaijan and here. We grab another points-paying position in 8th place today. Verstappen takes the win ahead of Hamilton, who came up from 4th place. Vettel started 3rd, finished 3rd. Bottas from pole down to 4th place. That hurts him. Leclerc in 5th. Albon does round out the top 3 teams in 6th place. Ricciardo takes best of the rest. And my teammate, who again we keep raising her level, but it's still significantly lower than the rest of the field. And so she only manages to finish ahead of Latifi, even though our car is very much in the middle of the pack now. So we need to rapidly develop her AI, and she could start finishing in the low teens. 7th place in the points, best of the rest, 48. Very much a battle there, but it looks like I'm starting to pull ahead slightly in that area, and part of that is the car development that's been quite high. AlphaTauri did finally score a point. 4 teams combined for just 1 point, and we're pretty late in the championship. It's a little unbalanced. I think in real life there are 2 teams in a bit of danger, Haas and Williams. I do think Alfa Romeo is probably only slightly better than them, and those 2 teams will battle Alfa Romeo all season long, and they will, at times, at the right track, with the right setup, battle AlphaTauri as well. But I still think they're going to be good enough to grab some points here and there, especially with the odd year that we're having in real life, with the long break from last season to starting this season, the weird calendar, lots of races back to back, not much time to develop and fix things. And if reliability is a concern, which the first 2 races definitely have been, you can see some weird things happening. And especially if we get some wet races again, like in Germany, like today, Singapore, that kind of thing could really throw things around. But here is Racing Point now at the top, ahead of McLaren and ahead of Renault and ahead of us. Got a nice little battle going here.
So, let's review the drivers' standings. Valtteri Bottas takes the top spot. He's our new Drivers' Championship leader after today's results. Let's move on to the constructors. Mercedes continue to extend their lead. Meanwhile, good work from the owner drivers team this weekend, who pushed themselves further up the order. And with that, we wrap up another weekend of motorsport. But with more races lined up, be sure to join us when we come back with more Formula One.
I pick up best of the rest. 7th place finish in this race. Bottas ends up winning the race, moving back into the championship lead here pretty late in the season. Hamilton only finishing 5th in this one. Vettel from pole only manages a 3rd place finish. But Juju Noda, 7th place, and fastest lap by 3/1000ths of a second. Calderon, a little bit higher this time, 20th ahead of both Williams. Still not beating the Haas's, but close, right? Latifi was way behind. 2nd ahead of Russell, just 2 seconds between the Haas cars. So a little more car development, a little more development of the driver, Calderon. I think she'll start competing with the Haas cars here pretty soon, and then won't be far away from catching up to the Alfa Romeos. Bottas 8 points clear of Hamilton. We've got a battle on our hands. And I have equaled Renault on points now, as we are tied for 6th. Another 2-week period before we go into round number 19 of the championship, so we have a chance to once again spend some time developing, and I will take full advantage of the opportunity to develop Calderon as a driver. It looks like we could also get some good chassis development in. 1,000 acclaim. Holy cow, 1,000 acclaim. That's a lot. We're on the verge of level 10 and getting another secondary sponsor. So I'm going to start putting base level upgrades into the personnel sector. They're pretty cheap, 2 million, 1.5, and 1 million. So for just over, or just under 5 million, just 4.5 million will get us the first level in all of these. Other teams outpacing my upgrades have pushed us back down the order a bit. Again, as we've stalled out slightly. But it looks like I can finally get into some engine upgrades once again. We have an ERS upgrade. Oh, pure engine power, that's nice. These are all major ones, so we are going to have to wait one more race to have enough points to get involved in those trees. Right before we head to Japan, our engine cover major upgrade failed. That's a lot of points to redevelop that one. As we go forward down the road here, we're definitely going to want to start investing in some quality control. Major news as we head to Japan, we'll have to see after the race what department is going to have regulation changes. Hopefully it's reliability, as I've only spent a very small amount of points there. Otherwise we're going to have a lot to cover off here the rest of the season if we don't want to lose it all. In other race weekends I always bypass this, but I wanted to show off the resource points that we earn. You can see it's up a lot from where it was. The team acclaim that we earn, we get just a small amount for practice as we simulate it, so participation is quite low. It actually hurts the team acclaim slightly as more is expected of us. But then we'll see the effect of qualifying here in just a moment. And you can see here that the lack of participation in qualifying hurts me immensely. Calderon qualifying near the back only gains a very small amount of acclaim. So in both practice and qualifying, I lose a little bit of acclaim. But because of our high race finishes, we're always gaining that back. After starting just 11th place on the grid, penalties maybe, Hamilton carves his way through the field up to 4th place, but Bottas, who started on pole, managed to finish higher than his teammate and pull a little bit further away, but it's Charles Leclerc from row 2 on the grid who manages to win the race. Ricciardo takes best of the rest of the day, Noda only earning a single point, but hey, points are points. And Calderon still down at the back of the grid, right there with Russell every day now, but something I just noticed, just 0.4 of a second behind Kevin Magnussen at the finish line. So it's a good sign for Calderon, even though she finished at least one spot lower than where I would expect her to finish. She was on pace a little bit quicker than Russell and Magnussen. It might have been off the line where she got down and just never could get back around those guys. Still 7th place in the Drivers' Championship, 14 points between Bottas and Hamilton. In that Constructors, well, Renault earned more points than we did, so they slot in back ahead of us. But 7th place is certainly not a bad place to be. AlphaTauri has jumped to 7 points now. Alright, here's that final bit post-race. You can see I definitely earned quite a bit of acclaim there. Calderon's still just a small amount, but that is where we really get that boost to team acclaim. And you can see that was actually enough to push us over that edge to get up to level 10, which is going to give me a 3rd secondary sponsor. That's more money coming in. It's going to be 10 more levels before we get an additional sponsor, but I think we're now going to hit that happy zone where money's going to really start to roll in a lot quicker. With 4 total sponsors, really adds up to quite a bit of money. But still, every time we level up a claim, we're bringing in more money. TriStar, our main sponsor, now at almost $500,000 every week. And we've already achieved the goal. So we're going to earn almost $9 million additional dollars here at the end of the season, which is coming kind of right around the corner. So the 2 sponsors we do have, everything's going well there. Let's see what we get for this 3rd one, though. Okay, so starting from the top, what is something achievable? Well, we're not going to complete 100 laps. We're not going to hold the first. We're not scoring 33 points in a weekend. Fastest lap we've done once, but that's not consistent. Complete a weekend without colliding with another vehicle. It's hard to say whether that's going to take or not. I would think it probably will. Most races take, and that's over 400,000. So right now I'm leaning towards that one. Achieve a top 10. I'm doing that almost every week now. I think that's our gimme right there. We'll take that one. It's actually a long sponsorship as well. So the secondary sponsors now, it's well over $1 million a week that we're earning, and we're getting almost all of that every week, which ultimately boils down to probably a solid 1 million average. And then we have that $500,000 on the main sponsor. So realistically, we're bringing in roughly $1.5 million per week. Baseline, it is $1 million. You can see up there at the top, our total weekly income is $1 million. With the goals, at least when we have the races, we're pushing that to 1.5. Calderon base still at 1.5 million. I was hoping to add driver perks to her, but we haven't been able to do that. But look at that bonus pace that she's carrying from training on the simulator. Extra +5. So as we add in those other categories, looks like level 1 gets us +5 to each of those, race and awareness. Definitely solid investment, as that's going to help her on track significantly. 59% wear. Let's go ahead and take the penalty. Starting from the back anyway. 51. Go ahead and take the penalty. Very much coming up on the end of the season now. Gearbox is good to go. Just finally got into the second practice gearbox. That's what happens when you're not the primary participant. But you can see how we've slipped back down that order. We are ahead of Haas. We are ahead of Williams. Well ahead of Williams. But the teams that we were placed ahead of, they've all scooted back ahead of us. And look at that. AlphaTauri way up the order. No wonder they're finally scoring some points. Holy cow. Okay. Bad news, folks. Really bad news. So, my 2 least developed departments, durability and chassis, not affected by regulation changes. It is powertrain and aero. You can tell by the orange color here. I'm going to have to now focus the rest of the season. It's late in the season already. I'm going to almost certainly have to focus the rest of the season's R&D points on covering off these upgrades that we've already completed. So just as I was getting ready to make a major engine upgrade, nice new cylinder head, we're going to have to adapt all these parts. So we'll start with the engine. Looks like we'll be able to get that covered off all the way this week, and then we'll start focusing on aero next week. Powertrain upgrade, no negatives. Got an invitational event coming up, and then I've got 5 more days. We have 1,000 team acclaim, which is obviously nice. But there's 1,000 team acclaim with positive money. I certainly like that better. And you know what? We might as well do that. That leaves us with a single day to then also grab 300 acclaim. Alright, so I'm in Sochi. This is a 3-lap invitational event. We're in a 2006 Renault. We begin 11.5 seconds back of the leader. They all get a head start. 5 cars. And I have to finish in first place. Gained 2 seconds already. Oh, and he put me in the wall. Already down to 8.5 seconds. It was not pleasant that he decided to put us in the wall. I had to redo that little sector, but we're okay. Alright, 6.5 seconds after just 1 lap, so we pulled back 5 seconds on that lap. At that rate, we could definitely do it, but we've still got 3 cars to pass. Just lost some momentum there. Kowski blocks me off. Should be able to get him here soon. So 2 more to go. We're only just inside 5 seconds now, so we've only gained, well, now 2 seconds on this lap. Should be able to get sorry here before this next turn, or under the next braking zone anyway. Oh, that was me that time. There's the leader. We've got a full lap to go still, which will be starting here in just a moment. .7 behind. And we've got a whole lap to catch 1 car. We've actually pulled back out to 2 seconds. Back down to 1.5. 1 second now. Half a second. Got him to the inside. We're into the lead. Almost lose it on the exit. Save it. And we just got to bring it home in one piece. Out to a 2-second lead. So far ahead, I can't even hear their engines anymore. There you go. 3 seconds to the good with the victory. Event completed. 3 races still to go, and Mercedes have clinched the Constructors' title. Hamilton also closes down on Bottas in the lead of that championship. He finishes third. Bottas, who started from second, drops to fourth place in this race. Leclerc took third. Last step on the podium, but it's Max Verstappen from pole to finish, claiming the victory and the fastest lap. Noda only getting up to 12th place this time, so a little bit further down than where we're used to being at the back of a mid-pack of cars that actually was led this time by Albon and not by the best of the rest Racing Points. So we're a little further adrift from the other teams than where we were without recent upgrades, but with recent driver improvements, Tatiana Calderon finally not only beats the Williams, but manages to beat one of the Haas cars, who, surprisingly, recently, it's been Magnussen consistently behind Grosjean, which is a little unrealistic if you ask me. Grosjean has his races, can have his pace at times, but Magnussen is definitely the better of the two drivers. With just 3 races left, Calderon moves ahead of her teammate, Boschung, who had the seat before her with a higher finish now. Still only 21st of 23 drivers on the season. That's pretty sad. That is quite sad. Kvyat all of AlphaTauri's points at this stage of the season. Ocon with just 13, Norris with just 20. I do still have best of the rest status in 7th with 56, but it's pretty close with Ricciardo, and this could be a shaky last few races as we have been focused on shoring up the car. We kind of topped out on a couple development areas there momentarily, so I think we are fading a little bit here late in the season. We'll see if we can hang on. But it is still Bottas on top of Hamilton, but his lead was cut in half this week, down to just 8 points with 3 races to go. And again, season now wrapped up in the Constructors, Mercedes champion. Red Bull a little closer to Ferrari, but it clearly looks like that order is going to go unchanged. Racing Point starting to pull clear as the 4th best. Still really tight, though, between McLaren, Renault, and us. But I think we are trending downward, so it looks like it could be a battle for 5th between the McLaren and Renault outfits. But that is going to do it for this episode. I'm Decathlon Gamer. Thanks for tuning in. Be sure to hit that like button, and I'll see you next time. Have a good one. Be safe out there, and bye for now.